Massive morning in Braves country. Chris Sale signs an extension. The Braves announce their own broadcast network, BravesVision. Let's talk about it. Yes, welcome on in to Braves Today for Tuesday, February 24th, your source for news, notes, and updates on your Atlanta Braves. I'm your host, Lindsey Crosby, award-winning baseball writer and podcaster. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. You can find all of my written work, BravesToday.com. That's the Braves Today Substack, as this is both a podcast and a newsletter. We're proudly part of the Believe Podcast Network and presented to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app or go to FanDuel.com to get started. A lot of news this morning. Within a span of 20 minutes, we got two massive pieces of news that answer some of the biggest questions in front of the Atlanta Braves. Let's take them in chronological order. The first announcement is BravesVision. This is the team's television setup for 2026 and beyond. According to the news release, it's called BravesVision. They own this completely. They will oversee every aspect of this: production, sales, marketing, distribution. It's a, quote, multimedia platform owned and operated by the organization that will be the official local television home of the Braves, beginning with the 2026 baseball season. And there's quotes in there from CEO Derek Schiller and things like that. But here's what you need to know about, one, the logistics of how it'll work, and two, what it means going forward. So, first bit of logistics. How do you watch? While they did not give exact information, they did not give channel locations, availability on different systems and all of that, we did get a Sports Business Journal report from late Monday night that kind of gave a little bit of info here. The Braves are currently in talks for distribution deals with Comcast. They have a building outside. You can see their building behind right field if you're in the ballpark, so I hope that they would be part of this. Comcast, with Charter, with DirecTV. And then the article mentioned potentially getting into YouTube TV and Hulu. So if you have Comcast, if you have Charter, if you have DirecTV, and potentially some other smaller cable providers, you would be able to just have this in your package and watch games that way. Okay? And again, not a comprehensive list. The Braves specifically did not release a list. So don't worry if I didn't say one of the different cable providers, if I didn't say the one that you're on, there's still time, okay? Let's be patient. Number two is some unknown number of games will be broadcast over the air. They're going to use gray media again, just like they did last year, like they're doing right now for spring. And across the Southeast in Gray's network of broadcast stations, which if you haven't checked the map, it's a bravesongray.com. They go all the way, I think, to Mississippi and up into Tennessee. It's a big geographic area that Gray has stations. There's not a station where I live here, but there's one in each city adjacent to me, and the antenna that I have in my attic can catch those broadcasts, so I can watch those games over the air for free. And then the Braves are also going to put BravesVision on the league's streaming platform. So on MLB.tv, there will be an additional subscription available to get Braves.tv. And even if you live in Braves country, any game that BravesVision is producing, you can watch streaming on Braves.tv. There's no blackouts, as long as it's not a national broadcast that is required to be exclusive. And some of the numbers that they have discussed here, it's going to be something like 140 games that they will produce themselves. The remaining broadcasts, the 26 or so, the 22 or so, some combination of Fox or FS1, ESPN, TBS, NBC, Peacock, Apple TV. Those are all subject to the national deals from that the league has signed. So BravesVision is going to do everything possible. All the spring training broadcasts are going to be on Braves.tv. You go to Braves.tv to create a free account. You can watch them all for free in the spring, and then you'll have to start paying when the regular season starts. Now, to answer some of the questions that I've already seen this morning from the news announcement, I kind of already touched on we don't know what cable providers are carrying this yet. The Braves are going to announce that closer to opening day. We just don't know. That's something they said in the announcement. They'll provide an update on availability and channel locations as distributor deals are finalized. We also don't know the price for Braves.tv. They have not yet announced that. They have not yet confirmed that. A lot of the other teams who are on the league's streaming platform, Padres.tv, Rockies.tv, there's Angels.tv. A lot of teams are on there now. MLB's producing their broadcasts. A lot of those are like $19.99 a month or $99 a season. We don't know because Atlanta is paying for the production themselves versus the league paying to produce them. We don't know if their cost will be different. They may have a different cost. We don't know. But again, most of the packages now are $99.99 a season or $19.99 a month. You pay that directly to Braves.tv, and the organization presumably gets most of that. We also don't have confirmation that Brandon Gaudin and CJ Nitkowski and Wiley Ballard are back. Everything that we know, everything that I've been told by people is that they will be back. And CJ said this right after the announcement happened. He put that video on social media. I think he was making sourdough bagels and talking to the camera. He said that their understanding is that they would be back. And the fact that the Braves used them to broadcast the game on Sunday tells me that odds are they will be back. But we don't know for a fact. Again, I'm 99% confident you're going to see CJ and Brandon on the broadcast. But we just don't know that 100% certainty. But what we do know is the Braves own this. We do know that they actually have the potential to grow their revenue here on the broadcast side versus what they were bringing in. I touched on this a little bit ago, and we're going to bring a guest on to kind of talk about this. I'm hoping to get that recorded this afternoon or tonight and drop it probably first thing in the morning before tomorrow's show goes out. Speaking of, I recorded a show for Tuesday. I bumped it to Wednesday. The very top of the show, I say, welcome to your Tuesday edition of Braves Today. You guys don't make fun of that because I pushed it to Wednesday, obviously, because a much bigger news happened. That's what I get for saying the day. I should have just not said the day in the intro. But in just a minute, let's talk about the revenue stuff and how, and what this means combined with the Chris Sale extension news. We'll do that next right here on Braves Today. But first, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Grand Slam Getaways. If you're looking for the perfect summer vacation, this is for you. It's bucket list bus trips, includes multiple Braves games. All these trips leave out of Atlanta, right? It's Florida in May. There's the Midwest in June. There's the Northeast in July. All these trips leave out of Atlanta. They catch multiple Braves games and multiple other games in other ballparks. There's field level tickets to all the games, 3-star hotels, breakfast is included. There's giveaways, appearances by former Braves players, all kinds of great stuff for you. To get info on this, grandslam-getaways.com to see the full list, prices, schedules of the games you'd be catching and everything. The fun side trips you're doing. One of them goes to the Louisville Slugger Museum. One of them goes to the Bull Durham filming locations. Pretty sure the Florida trip has a beach day built into it. Again, grandslam-getaways.com. Whether you're a baseball nut, whether you're retired, or parent-child summer vacation bonding trip, think grandslam-getaways.com. Welcome back to Braves Today. Lindsey Crosby. Let's talk about the Chris Sale extension, and let's talk about how these two things could maybe be connected. So, less than 20 minutes after we got the announcement about Braves television, Jeff Passan of ESPN, as he usually does, broke the news that the Braves had extended Chris Sale, and then the team confirmed it 10 minutes later. It's a 1-year, $27 million contract extension for 2027, and it has a $30 million club option for 2028. I've been saying this for a while about the future rotation and everything, discussing how I expected them to re-sign Chris Sale, but they technically hadn't done it yet. And so I didn't want to do my future rotation projection assuming he would be in there. They've done it. So he is playing on an $18 million club option right now. And as I understand, when it comes to the CBT and everything, that $18 million figure is what is being charged to the CBT this year. And then it will go up to $27 million for 27. And then again, the club option is $30 million in 2028. We don't have any word of a buyout or anything. The Braves are pretty good at giving financial information in their releases. We just didn't get any info here on whether there's a buyout or not. I don't expect there to be, but this is big to me for a couple reasons, okay? Number one, and I think I've probably been the number one person discussing this because of how many times I got pinged when this thing came out, the Atlanta max of $22 million. The Braves, under Alex Anthopoulos, have paid more than $22 million a year for a player because they gave Josh Donaldson $23 million in 2019. But other than that, they've never successfully signed a guy for more than $22 million. Reported, like the Freddie Freeman offers that were reported were for more than $22 million. The Aaron Nola deal that they had proposed was reportedly more than $22 million. You know, AA pushed back a little bit on some of the public characterization of the deal, but that was something where, hey buddy, you gotta go chill, bandit. Where supposedly they were offered more than $22 million. We know that. He pushed back on the exact dollar figure, but it was more than $22 million. So kind of a big deal there. And we talked about extending Ronald a little bit. We had that conversation about, for what player do you exceed the Atlanta max? And the two options, it felt like, were always the two statistically and award-wise most accomplished players on the roster. Ronald Acuna Jr., your former MVP, and what many former Braves players, Braves greats, have said is the most talented player, raw talent, to ever be in the organization. And the other option, Chris Sale, your Cy Young winner, the veteran leader of the clubhouse. You've done one of those. You extended Chris Sale past $22 million. Now, the thing here, though, you did not give him a multi-year deal for more than $22 million. It's technically a 1-year deal for $27 million. It kicks in the next season, and then there's the club option after it. So he goes from making 1 for 18. This becomes a 2 for 45 when you factor in the 26 salary and the 27 salary with the club option on the end. So this is a step. This is a positive step forward. Alex Anthopoulos gave a current Braves player more than $22 million a year. It is still a 1-year deal, though. And you weren't going to sign Chris Sale for 4 or 5 years. He's already 36 years old. So I understand the direction they went there. I understand why they paid him more. I think that he's worth it. And when you look at, I've seen a little bit of stuff from people, either saying it was risky or saying it was a bad investment, period. And I think that's because of the health of Chris Sale. But what I think is really good here is if you look at the dollar cost per WAR in free agency, right? Saris of The Athletic was talking recently, it's around $11 million per win. If you look at that, then even if Chris Sale is making $27 million, he has to produce like 2.5 WAR. And he's done that. Even getting hurt last year, he did that. If you go on FanGraphs, his Cy Young season was 6.4 WAR, which again, if you're using the $11 million figure on this, that's $70 million in salary. Okay? And then last year, 3.6 WAR. Even missing multiple months of the season, he was worth he was worth the salary plus some. And so that's where the Braves are right now, is provided they get Chris Sale at, and they have him for, half the season, assuming relatively similar levels of production, it's going to easily be worth the money, even going over $22 million. And that's strictly from a baseball perspective. You also have the leadership, you have the public relations boost of keeping the star, the people who are excited they win over 22, all of the ancillary non-baseball benefits as well to this. It's really hard to argue this is a bad deal. You can argue it is risky upping his salary to $27 million because even in that 24 Cy Young season, he missed time late with the back issue, the back spasms he was having. And then last year, obviously, missed multiple months. I would counter that a little bit and say that the back issue was minor. You were going to get him back if you'd advance past the wild card round. And last year, that was a fluky injury, right? Falling and cracking his rib cage, trying to field a ball in the 9th inning when he had already thrown 116 pitches or whatever. It's not like earlier in his career where he was having arm issues and shoulder issues, right? Fluky injuries that should not be, they should not recur. So I'll kind of say that there is risk, clearly. If he does get hurt and misses the entire season, you flush $27 million down the toilet. I do think that is the risk you have with every single pitcher deal. Any pitcher at any time, as we saw this spring, can go down for any reason. But bringing back Chris Sale was a huge deal. And I can't help but wonder, are these two things connected? Again, we're going to bring on an expert to talk about this a little bit later. But when you look at the Braves payroll, the Braves revenue situation and the TV deal specifically, it's a scenario where when the predecessor to Main Street Sports Group, so the company that ran the Bally Sports Southeast and all of that, and Braves on Bally, they actually, when they went to bankruptcy the first time, they tried to get out of every single TV deal that they had for MLB except for the Braves deal. That was the only one that they wanted to keep because it was such a good deal for them. They were making so much money off of it because the Braves were significantly underpaid. Before Liberty Media got the team, when Time Warner had it, the deal was executed with, I think it was then like Fox Sports Net Southeast or whatever. A long-term TV deal was put into place, and it was considered underpaid at the time. And the deal was so underpaid, it actually changed the transaction price of the acquisition of the Atlanta Braves for Liberty Media. They paid less for the Atlanta Braves because of how bad the TV deal was. So a lot of other teams who have swapped from an RSN to league-produced broadcast or the Rangers doing their own thing, whatever, a lot of them have taken haircuts on revenue. Like, they've seen less revenue because of that. The Braves are in the unique position they could actually see more. Braves country is very large. There is a lot of people in Braves country. And it is entirely possible because of how underpaid they were and how this is now they own it themselves. They're not partnering with the league to produce the broadcasts. The Braves are producing everything, and the stream is being hosted on MLB.tv. Probably for a much lower price than if the league was paying to produce everything themselves. Because of that, the Braves could genuinely be making or plan to be making more money or reasonably expect to make more money off of this. And I think if that happens, then more deals like the Chris Sale deal could be possible, where Atlanta comes up from the Atlanta max of $22 million to pay players because they have more TV revenue coming in. The earnings report is due on Wednesday morning. I'm signed up for the call. I always am. I'm going to bring you guys a full breakdown of what they did in 2025 from a revenue perspective. But in 2024, the team's total broadcast money, you factor in the national deals and what they got from Main Street and all of that, in 24, it came out to like $166 million. By contrast, the Dodgers' local TV deal was more than double that. Was like over $300 million. So Atlanta's already working behind, and arguably, yes, there's a lot of people in the LA area, but there's a lot of people in Braves country. Atlanta shouldn't be making less than half of what the Dodgers are making yearly from their TV deal. Hopefully this helps. Again, we'll have more on this coming down the road. I'm bringing on a guest to talk more about this, everything that we know, some of what he's heard as a, as a reporter who has sources and all of that. So we're going to do more on that. I'll also be bringing you today's regularly scheduled episode. A prospect episode will be tomorrow. Again, reminder, the very beginning of the show, it's going to say your Tuesday edition of Braves Today. Don't make fun of me for that. I bumped it for this. And then there's probably going to be a bonus episode tomorrow for us to talk about the earnings and what the Braves did financially in 2025. But that'll do it for today's special bonus edition of Braves Today. Sorry it's short, Dave. I know you listen to this on your runs. But do me a favor. Please like the video. Please subscribe, both here and at BravesToday.com. For your paid helps us out a ton. Until next time, this has been Braves Today.